So now that all this area of leather is done, what we want to do now is paint the main clothes, and all of the trousers, all the robe, and obviously all of the clothing on the back here, so that the only thing that won't be painted will be the weapon and pretty much the skin. So as I said before, these are pretty quick to paint in that way. So the paints I'm going to use to do that are bleached bone, as that's the basis of a nice linen colour, but then I'm going to water it down and add some skull white to make it a lot brighter. Excuse me. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to use my trusty old brush to just put a whole bunch of the paint into the tray, and what I want to do is put enough in here, let's just turn this around, that I can paint all of the models you can see, because what I've been doing is going off and finishing off the other four as we've been painting this one that I'm showing you. So this tray that I got, by the way, was like 75p from W.H. Smith, I think it was. And it's just just a plastic kids. Whoops, got a fibre in the paint there. A plastic kids paint tray. So water, squizzle it around, get it nice and fluid. The good thing about using these trays that have got welds like this instead of the tile that I was using before is that obviously all the paint goes to the bottom here, so at the bottom of the well. So I'll clean this brush off and then throw some white in. Now it's come up several times how much white, how do you gauge how much paint of each to put in? And I don't think there's an answer. Sometimes if you want to mix a small amount, it literally can be a case, let's see if I can get this on, of getting used to how much goes on the tip of your brush, like that for example, and you'll know that that's the right amount for consistency. So when you're mixing the paints in small batches, just kind of get a sense of how much paint you're putting on per mix that you do, to try and get roughly the same colour. It's the absolute bane of my life to match shades. So that's why when I'm painting in batches like this, I'll try and put enough together that I don't run out mid paint. A lot of bubbles in this for some reason today. Okay, I don't think that's enough, so I'm going to clean the brush off. I don't think that's quite bright enough for what I'm looking for. The models end up like this, by the way. I'll zoom in on that. So you can see the lightest area on the top of his thighs here, or his shoulders. This is the base colour we're trying to put together now. So I think it needs to be a bit brighter. Yeah, it's looking fairly good. We're going to do the eyes bleached bone later with some Bada black wash. So again, we want to think about where else we're going to use this colour. I don't think it's quite a bit brighter again, a little bit brighter. We need to think about where else we're going to reuse these colours and what kind of contrasts will we end up with. You know what, I think that's okay. I shouldn't have mixed it so hard, I've got loads of bubbles here. I don't think that will be a problem. And I'm going to put some more water in too. So when we're painting the linen now, we need this base colour, because from here I need to be able to darken it. I do things pretty much in reverse, by the way. I tend to go from the light colour to the dark. Instead of having a kind of standard out of the paint, out of the pot colour and then highlight that and darken that, I tend to mix it around a little bit. I tend to go just from a light colour and darken it down. These washes like the Bada Black, the Azure Blue, what else we got, Devil and Mud, they're great for working in that order. Now I've also got my new big brush, so let's see how we do with this. So the good thing about the palette as well, whoops, let's see if you can see that, is instead of constantly dabbing the excess against a tissue, which I do have, you can just get rid of the excess on the side here. which is nice. Nice and convenient, I mean. Alright, let's see how we can do this. Make sure we're in focus. And remains. Now, what we're looking for is smooth layers of paint over the model. And just like the leather that we touched up, the leather that we painted, I touched it up after, off camera as it were. We're probably going to go over this. Oops, going to go over what I've already painted. I'm going to go over the areas we're painting 2 or 3 times. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to work the paint in the flow of the cloth here, so that any streaks are sort of hidden away by the model. Finding it hard to stay within the lines here. It's difficult doing it on camera. God. Yeah, bit to excess. But you can see the linen colour building up now, and it's really just a case of, oops, I don't think I sprayed too well in there. The paint's not taking. Didn't do the undercoat very well, because the paint was just sort of leaching off. Then come back to that. If you get areas that you've not sprayed very well, I find the best way is a light cover of the base coat, and then just go back over it. It's absolutely fine. Just helps it take. Again, where these two colours meet, don't worry too much about perfection. Not going over the edges, because we're going to come back and we might line those in, we might shade them in, etc. later. So the paint you're putting on there at the moment probably isn't the paint we're going to use. So it's absolutely fine. I've got very accurate paint going on today. Can I blame this new brush? Or is it just my skill? So, oops, doesn't want to focus, does it? There we go. So here we go. So this is what we do. We just go over this, and let's say the good thing about these models is they very quickly get painted. Okay, looking pretty good. So when we come back and shade later, areas like that under the leg, we'll do darker. Within the recesses of the cloth, again, we'll do darker. Okay, so you can start to see we're starting to make a change now in the colour. Coming together pretty quick. So the only thing about this LifeCam thingy is I don't have a timer. It doesn't show you how long this video is. Or the video you're making at the time, as it were. As you can see in the background, by the way, I've also painted up the other 4. And I'm continuing to paint up the other 4 as we go along. So that's what I'll do when I turn the camera off. I'll paint those up. Oops, it's got a bit of a thing, a bit of a blob there. Get rid of that. Bit of dry paint or something coming off the pot. Okie dokie. So I'll continue on with this. I'll paint this guy up. You get the idea now. He's making a good transition. And then we'll look at the painting the rest. Okay, so you get the idea. I'll go ahead and finish that. I'll get back to you in a second.